orchard update. We're about the middle of June 2025. Just gonna do a walk tour and see what everything looks like. A few of the trees we planted this year, I think they would be these two, this one, a couple down this row, like 1, 2, 3, those three. Well, the first obvious trouble that I see, we lost the top of a pretty, one of our better trees. Not sure what happened on that one. I don't know if it's focused or not, but it's not ideal. I see the top of it. To be truthful, when I got here, it was hanging like this, and I went ahead and just pulled it the rest of the way off. There was no saving it. You can see it rubbed a little bit, maybe on the top of the fence line there, but man, I don't know what did that. We had a ton of storms come through. God, you can see it was one of our better sized ones. Would have been just like that, about that tall. It's probably 3-4 feet taller than me. It would have been a good shape too. That's unfortunate. That was relatively recent. I was down here in the last couple weeks and that wasn't like that. So you can see there are some nice new growth going up. So we'll probably, I'll clean this cut up. Man, that was a pretty decent size around trunk there. That's a shame. We'll have to pick a new central leader. We can't have 4 shoots going straight vertical like that, so we'll pick one, let it grow, and then we'll cut the rest back. That might be a project over the next few years though. Haven't decided if I want to start this one over and replant it or not. It's one of the thicker trunks that we have, and it's in pretty good shape. I would hope the roots will be able to fund all this new growth, but that's a shame. It's a pretty decent sized tree, and look, it had all this new growth up at the top and stuff too. Oh well, you can see the deer got a hold of it on that deer browse. I don't know if that's going to focus or not, but that's what they do. Well, that's the first major problem. A couple other things I see. This one is not a new problem. This was one of the very, very small Granny Smiths that I planted in the beginning. You can see it's actually not quite dead. It does have some shoots just barely coming out of the protector there, but it's not worth keeping at that height. Not too sad about that one there. It was only this tall when I planted it, so and it's real thin, so it wasn't super far along anyways. It was actually one of the smallest ones in the orchard. Next problem, I need to come in and remulch these. I've been lazy, had some medical issues that I won't discuss on here yet, but it's prevented me from coming out here and really taking care of these the way I should. You can see the deer got a hold of this one, just broke it off. The deer come through and they grab these ends of the new growth, is nice and soft, and I'm sure it tastes great. And they come in and they pull on it and it snaps them. I just got to get these trees to the height about right here where they can start branching out like some of these taller ones. And that's above the deer browse, and then they're good to go. But until they get there, every single little bit of new growth is under pressure. So I need to come in and remulch these. The thistle, there's a few with some good sized thistle. I'm gonna try to pull some of that today. This one's real bad. Looks like I'm growing thistle. But I'll come in and I'll yank these out of here. This one's still they're hard to get with the zero turn when I'm mowing around these. And the weed eater doesn't do a great job of cutting through them. They're pretty thick. This one's still got a decent amount of mulch and stuff at the bottom, but this was one of the ones we planted this year. But you can see this one was about this size when we planted it, maybe a little smaller, but it started, you know, the branch where it starts to branch out was above the deer browse line from day one. So this tree is going to do really well. It's not going to have any problems with that necessarily. Let's see what we got going on up here. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's like a glob of, I'll see if I can attach a picture of that. I'm not sure what that is. There's a variety of bugs that enjoy apple trees and fruit trees. Oh, you can see this one's one of the ones we planted this year. It's actually trying to put on a little apple here. I shouldn't let it do that. I should pick that off, but there's only one. You can see the deer got a hold of right here, but they can't get the apple. I'm sure that frustrates them. I shouldn't let these trees fruit out the first couple years. They really need to focus on growing and putting on roots. And obviously they're battling this thistle. I'll help them out with that in a little bit. But look at that. It is fun to see though. I can't help myself. Continue walking around here. These trees look good. There's probably too many vertical growths on that one. We'll probably end up cutting this off, letting this be the central leader. That's a good height that the deer won't be able to mess with it too bad. At some point, it'll probably lose this one and maybe this one as well. Basically anything below that level, let it branch out from there. These trees are all semi-dwarf and standard, so they're gonna be big. They'll probably actually be too tall to pick while you're standing on the ground and pick most of the fruit. I've accepted that. It is what it is. This tree here, you can see I put some bags on. Again, one of the ones we planted this year. It's young. It can't support the weight of these apples. It does have 2 apples in the same cluster right here. I think I might have planted this one in the wrong spot. This might be a Granny Smith that I'm now seeing the green apples. There were 1 or 2 that the tags got lost on the drive down here. Oops. But again, I couldn't help myself. It's fun to see some of the literal fruits of your labor, especially with fruit trees. They take so long to actually show any return. Again, there's a couple apples on there's one here and one here. Those are about racquetball sized. But if it does snap this branch, this was a low branch anyways. Eventually that was gonna get cut off, and probably this one as well. This, I haven't decided on this one, and these, that might be a good point. That's about chest height for them to start going out. They're at some pretty good angles right now too. It's got a nice even third distribution on that, which is like perfect. Then you can see way up at the top, all that'll be safe from deer, unless we get world record deer down here that are 20 foot tall. Again, another young tree that I believe we planted this year. A couple competing vertical growths, but again, a couple apples. These young trees put on apples because they're so stressed, they think they're dying, so they're trying to send one last attempt at survival / reproduction out before they die. Obviously, I'm going to do my best to not let that happen. But these apples probably won't grow very large. The tree doesn't have enough resources right now to support that. You can see here in the middle, there's a little patch of about 3, and there are a few more throughout the orchard, but there's a little patch of 3 small trees. This one, and this one. Those were that size when I got them. That's about the size I planted most of these. The problem is these did not have a tall enough central leader to escape the deer browse, and I didn't make these cages big enough. So the deer are able to walk all the way up to it and pick off all this nice soft new growth, and that's just been happening over and over to these trees. You can see that whole cluster there, you know, here and here, and then here again. I mean, literally every shoot has been browsed. I'll throw a picture up of that as well. But this tree will never get above this height unless I give it a bigger cage or some kind of extension to block the browse. Because it needs to get, you know, another foot and a half up here before it can start shooting out shoots from there that are not reachable. Again, it's the same with these other two. These are lessons I'm learning along the way. You can see this one's having some browning, probably just grass competition. It's real hot right now. And then again, you know, these main shoots coming up, they just get snapped off and that's it. This is all new growth this year. This tree's trying its hardest to escape. See, the cage is kind of crooked on that one too. I did a pretty poor job. It's settled over time. Things I'm learning. We do have a little bit of cedar apple rust on some of the leaves. I'm aware of that. There are cedar trees out here. Once these escape that browse line, they're good to go. You can see it has 2. Eventually we'll need to make a decision. Obviously the one on the left looks like it's much better, which is why I haven't really worried about this one's rubbing on the cage. That's gonna get cut off probably this fall. So we'll make a decision. That'll be our main central leader and let it branch out from there, and it might grow a few shoots down lower. That's fine. Overall, they look pretty decent. You can see this Granny Smith is putting on a tree, or an apple. It's actually got a few. That's exciting. This is the first year that it's had any fruit, and these have been planted for a couple years now, so I'm gonna let them do their thing. We'll take the reward on our hard work. You can see it doesn't look like there's any fruit on this one. That's fine. It'll pay its dues at some point. That second one in the row is the one with apples up on it. It's another one that, again, all this stuff down low will just cut off, and then, you know, right about there, right about where it's starting to grow, we'll space these out, maybe help it spread to a good angle, but that'll be the height where everything is safe. Here's another good example. You can see all the deer browse on this, but anything here and up is going crazy. That one had an apple on it last year. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. That was the first apple, this tree. It's the second one in, and the first one, this is a Fuji. So that's exciting. No apples this year, but that's okay. I think that was another stress response apple. This tree is kind of discolored, the leaves. The first year I wasn't sure it was going to make it. It was the last one to leaf out. It's really thick around down here, but it was just really slow. This year, again, the growth is kind of slow, but it is leafing out and there is new growth, so I'm going to let it do its thing. I believe that's a Red Delicious. I have to look at my map. overall, the orchard looks good. There's a lot of work that I need to do and stop being lazy. Remulch this, clean them up. I need to make all of these cages about twice as big to really give them room they need. See this one again. I really need to expand the cages. You can see the size difference in the cage on these new ones. It's about twice as big around. Again, no mulch though. That was a mistake. Well, that's about it for the orchard update. Again, beginning to middle of June 2025. It's a few things that need to be replanted. I'm not sure if that one's going to survive. That took a heck of a hit with that whole top part coming off. It also might just not be worth saving if you can plant them bigger than that. But we'll see. We'll see what it does. I'm not sure if you guys will like this video or not. It's pretty boring. It's just me talking. But if you have any suggestions, if any of you grow apples at home, I am open to suggestions and welcome them. This is new. It's not overwhelming, but some of the issues I am not very knowledgeable on. So if you have any fixes or tips or tricks, please let me know. I'm more than happy to do anything I can to help these trees.